All the right first.
Hello, hello.
All right. Our first listing is 8211 Kingsbrook Road, Unit 100, 169,900. Jennifer Lucio. Over in Bayou Bend. One 11635 Cedar Creek, 327,000 Beverly Jordan in the Energy Corridor.
Two last.
Okay. If they, I'll have to check the days for.
They're
just
coming up.
Text me the addresses.
There's two coming up.
Okay.
Or if they're on the agenda, I don't know, I'll have to look at them.
Oh, okay.
119 Ember Branch Drive for 369,000 Thomas Claffey, Sienna. They probably, if they didn't go into the computer until Tuesday, they might have had too many days on Market and not.
It was last Tuesday, not.
Right, but depending on what was on the listing agreement, we'll have to look at it, but I can pull it in a minute.
They're on here.
Right,
Oh, okay.
you have to just look at the date. But I can pull them up in a minute.
Okay.
Two 0735 Chestnut Hills Drive for 390,000 Sally Kmejek in Nottingham Country.
Look at that bed. It's like that.
Six two zero Levercombe Street, 405,000 Rosemary. This is in Rice Military, Washington Corridor. Seven one zero Walnut Bend for 459,000 Jennifer Lucio in Walnut Bend.
Where's Walnut Bend?
Right outside the Beltway, like Briar Forest, either side, north and south side of Briar Forest.
Yes.
House.
My nose big cheese.
13218 Sunrise Bluff Drive for 461,000. This is in Hockley, Lori Bowen. Let's see. There is a custom construction, 1 story. Built in 2016. 3606 Cloverdale Street, 495,000 Judy Cohen. In Woodside. One second. Make sure the links working right, and these texted, but you never know. Here we go. 1126 Thornton Road, $529,000, Rosemary Stiglitz and Shepherd Park Plaza.
Wow. Much.
.304 Asbury Street, $529,800, Vicky Barazande. This is a lot, a 5,000 square foot lot in Rice Military. .6417 Westcott, $539,000, Angela Chang, Camp Logan. .578 Trianon, thank you, Karen. $539,900, Philip Alter in Lafayette Place.
This is down the street from here.
Trianon.
Nice location.
I like that spiral staircase.
Take that out, the pneumatic elevators.
2622 Morrison Street, Unit 2, $545,000, Karen Stowers.
This is a really nice townhouse. It's single family. It has a beautiful roof deck with downtown and gallery of views. He bought it 2 years ago from the builder, and it was the builder's model home. He's offering it furnished. He bought it furnished, and it has a nice brick accent wall, real nice open second floor, lots of storage. It's a good floor plan, and it's a driveway with 5 townhouses, and it's at the end of the driveway, and you can actually park 2 cars outside the garage, and that's on the survey, so that's this property's land. So you have guest parking, which is a premium in that area.
Right. And it's open Friday, 12 to 2.
Yes.
8983 Briar Forest Drive for $549,000, Christine Rao. This is over in Hudson Green. .618 Bernard Street, $549,000 in Montrose, Mike Spear. Up here. .1440 Lawrence Street for $579,000, Lovely Winslow in the Greater Heights area.
I think this is a relist.
That house has just been staged, incidentally. She said it looks really beautiful.
She needs to get new photos.
Yeah, tell her to reshoot it if she
She's
can.
gonna have the picture taken again.
Okay,
Yeah.
perfect. .5100 San Felipe Street, Unit 52E, $598,000, Kelly Austin. This is in the 4-leaf.
Yeah, this is a beautifully updated unit. It was gutted and redesigned completely.
Yeah.
Um,
That's what
gorgeous kitchen with Bosch appliances and a big marble.
1670. I think
There's a second bedroom. They're using it as a sitting room, and that's the second bedroom that behind that king size monkey bed.
Yeah.
Queen size monkey bed.
Wow.
Great views on the 5th floor, so
I
you're
think you do.
eye level with the trees.
This is gorgeous.
That's nice.
Really pretty.
1675.
Wow.
Yeah. Gorgeous unit.
That interior is gorgeous.
Furniture is also available for sale.
Great. 934 Old Oyster Trail for $624,225. Deanne Gates in Sugarland North, the Enclave at Lake Point.
That's a pretty list.
.431 East 4th Street for $629,900. Danny Gleason in the Greater Heights area. Go backyard. 1134, help me. Thank you. Richelieu, sorry, didn't know that one. Richelieu Lane for $639,000. Shepherd Park Plaza, Eileen Hartman.
The, Great House, wonderful neighborhood right here.
Yes.
It's the same neighborhood as that new one on Martin. They've replaced almost everything since 2012. Kitchen remodel. They own the Amish furniture store on Washington, so you'll see it looks like a showroom for Amish furniture and fixtures. But great master bath. That's the hall bath, which also opens into one of the bedrooms. That's the study. That's the master bath. All new, bright. These homes were built in the 60s and early 70s, so they've done quite a bit. They regraded the entire backyard, even though it's never flooded. And sprinkler system, mosquito misting system, just about everything.
Cute, cute. $6,007 San Felipe Street, Unit B, $659,800. Vicky Barazande, West Haven Estates. I saw her come in, no?
Okay. This is
Oh,
a,
there she is.
this is a recent construction, so it's, there were tenants in here before, and it's the last unit, at the very end, and it has a really nice view back around yard, and really spacious open floor plan, really beautiful kitchen with wash appliances. And it's nice.
Very pretty. $10223 Holly Springs Drive, $749,000. Cheryl Ford in Briar Grove Park. $5516 Aspen Street, $759,000 in Richmond Plaza, Bel Air area, Henley Carpus.
This one's located on a really good, quiet street. With trees, 4-bedroom, 3.5 bath, a little over 3,000 square feet. Dining room has a wine storage that holds over 400 bottles of wine, which is awesome. GE appliances in the kitchen, built in 2003. Our renters should actually be out by the end of the month, so it's going to be really easy to show and show really well once they get the furniture out.
So you have showing there from there.
Yeah,
Showing,
yeah.
you know, it's
fun.
like, oh, really?
Yeah.
The whole family. Great.
152 Sugarberry Circle, $799,000, Asim Sawyer, Hudson Forest.
This is her sister's place, it's in
Yes.
Hudson Forest, it's never flooded, and her husband is in construction, so this is done really well, it's really good.
And I think it's a full 4-bedroom, and then it also has that game room. They enclosed like the 2-story living area into a game room. So it's really created nice space. 619 East 8th and Half Street, $949,000, Sabrina Elias, in Greater Heights.
How much is this one?
49,
Nine.
99. Thank you. What did I just say? Elevator. On their separate guest quarters. $6605 Wharton Street, $997,000 in Spring Branch, Westview Terrace, Sally Gamicha.
This is Joel Rome's personal home. And she bought it from a builder and then changed absolutely everything in the house. So it was a lot of browns. So she painted the outside, changed all the surfaces inside, painted inside, just really restructured. It's really a very pretty home.
Looks pretty.
She made some really good choices. It's got 2 down, a master and a secondary, and then 3 up, game room and media. It has not the biggest backyard, but a definitely green space for a pet, a little patio. There's Bailey sitting there.
At least that's so big.
And so just a really cute house. It's in Westview Terrace.
That Sally, where is that?
Westview Terrace off Silver.
North of I-10.
Yeah, north of I-10. Yeah.
Pocket
Goes to
neighborhood.
good schools, right?
Well, it's just on the other side, so it's just right outside of the Spring Branch Good Schools. But the good news is that the entire street, that entire block she's on is really already transitioned. And it's really transitioning very quickly over there.
There's also a lot of parochial schools that have opened in there.
Oh, yeah,
Right.
Audie.
Yeah.
Everybody that's looked at us is
And Audie.
going
Going
to.
to Audie.
Yeah.
5610 Del Monte Drive for $1,099,000, Angela Longo, Briarcroft.
Wait, which one is this?
Angela Longo's Briarcroft, $1,099,000. Del Monte, I think.
Yep.
$4103 Blue Bonnet Boulevard for $1,125,000, Terry Kaminsky, Ayrshire.
Yeah.
4517 Evergreen Street for $1,150,000, Stormy Hayes Night, Bel Air area, Evergreen Plaza. elevator. Sport court.
Their backyard.
2402 Glen Haven Boulevard for $1,199,000. Lisa Bear.
This is a really neat home. It's in North Braeswood. It's on the corner right across from the park. And it really orients itself around their beautiful backyard and pool area. There's the master down. There's also a guest suite down. And then 3 bedrooms up, all with ensuite baths. They have a beautiful balcony on the back of the house overlooking the beautiful backyard. They said they had parties where there's a band playing upstairs on the balcony and overlooking the beautiful backyard. And it's a really neat house. And it's a big car garage too.
This guy was trying to sell it a couple $100,000 higher for the last couple of years. And now,
Very nice. 4144 Ruskin Street for $1,268,000. Philip Alter in West University.
It's good too.
Sorry, Matrix is sticking.
The Matrix has had issues.
Really have since the
What is-
weekend.
Nature, yesterday was really,
Yeah, Sunday wouldn't even work.
didn't work yesterday.
This one's open tomorrow from 12 to 2. 12214 Taylor Crest for $1,280,000. Janice Murphy over Memorial Forest.
oh, that's right. Got it.
This was an original 3-2, and they popped the top, and now it's a 5-bedroom, 4-bath, nice game room.
Wow.
$3814 Bellefontaine Street, $1,288,000. Stormy Hayes 9, Grace Heights. $1,225 Welch Street, $1,349,000. Mike Spear,
No, it's awesome.
Bryn Montrose.
Very cool.
It's a coming.
Where's that second?
Wow.
Cool
Look at
shot.
that.
That's the heated pool.
Wow.
Cool.
Oh my gosh, look at that.
Wow.
What year's that built, Robin?
Sorry,
What year's that built?
I will go back and let you know. $15.
Thank you.
3903 Tennyson Street for $1,007,000. Karen Harburg over in
Okay.
West U.
This is a relist with just the house. The house is on 6,000 square foot lot, and the adjacent lot will be available once the house is sold, or you can buy the whole thing together. But just the lot is not currently available by itself. Will be open Wednesday, 12 to 2. It is beautiful. The current owner is the only owner. She bought it from the builder. She opened up the living room took out the study and made it a big giant living room. And it just really shows beautifully, giant game room. 4 bedrooms, 3.5 bath, 2 bedrooms, share a Hollywood bath. So that's on the original, part of the lot. But I just had some more photos taken of just the smaller backyard. We're gonna have that virtually staged with the playground and pool so people can get an idea. These are renderings for a pool on the second lot.
Nice. Good idea to do that. 2323 North Boulevard for $1,867,500. Greenbrier Rice Museum District.
This is a relist.
Liz Gregory, this is a relist, yes, and she did have it open for a broker open house today, but unfortunately that's been canceled. And it's
I
coming.
guess she was gonna ring,
That's why.
because it was supposed to be a real bad one. But I don't know if it is.
4018 Piping Rock Lane for 2.9 Martha Rocks in Oak Estates.
Martha's not here today, but she asked me to talk about this. She said it's really beautiful. She does have a show on it today. It's gonna be broker open from 12 to 2.
And that's all. I do have one listing on her accident. No, that's coming.
Okay, anybody else have new listings?
Okay. Robin Tucker asked me to share with you. She has a new listing going in today, 1749 Upland Lakes. It's a gated community west of Willcrest on the north side of I-10. It features 3 lakes, swimming pool, dog park, jogging trails, and it's zoned to Stratford. The home is the only 2-story in the community, plus it has an extended driveway for parking for 2 additional vehicles. First floor living, 3 bedrooms with all ensuite baths. The backyard is turf with a fire pit. This is a rare opportunity and it will be open Thursday from 12 to 2 and Sunday 3 to 5. Thank you. I don't know. That's the one thing she left off. I will let y'all know. Oh, she just said I forgot to tell you. $499. And it's a little over 2,800 square feet. That's right.
I've got a great listing coming next Tuesday in Westview, entry-level price point at $1,075,000. It is about a 2,800 square foot 1940s house, and it's had various updates throughout the years. It's got updated windows. It's got an absolutely gorgeous addition on the back. That was actually, the architect was Reagan Miller. And that's going to, the other thing with this one is it's got a downstairs master. So this is going to be great for the entry-level people coming into Westview, but also really awesome for those looking to downsize but stay in Westview. And if you have people looking to downsize, I have another house in Ayrshire that has a master down that is only $900,000.
Perfect. Walter?
Well, if you have anybody that's looking to upsize.
Yeah.
I have a new listing in River Oaks, also has a master down. It's at 3190 Inwood. It's on about half an acre. The house is 11,000 plus square feet. This home.
How many square feet in the house?
11,000.
11,000.
11,000 plus, okay.
And,
3190, I'm saying, repeating it, 3190 Inwood.
okay, this was the home that was, if y'all saw the movie Charlie Wilson's War.
Yeah.
This is where that All that took place.
Oh,
It's the
good.
former home of Joanne
King Heron. Okay, yeah.
and we're putting it in there plus this week, and it's priced at $7,950,000.
7,000,000.
What's the lot size, Walter?
Walter Berry.
Well, it's over half an acre. It is one of those, just all, it centers, it's very grand, and it centers all over the city.
Okay,
And it is gated.
fully gated. Okay.
I sold that house years ago, enjoying it.
I remember that. How long ago was that?
I don't know, it was when Ken Blake came to town because my son worked in his office and he told me about it and he came over and bought it.
Perfect. Jack, you got a new listing?
Yeah, I've got two new listings, both going active tomorrow. They're both kind of small starter homes, starting out in Cypress and Black Horse Ranch. Got a 2,100 square foot, single story, 3-bedroom with a possible 4. Backs up to the green space out there, really nice. It's a price point at $245.
Wow.
The other one's over here on Mason Street, so it's right by West Gray and Taft, in a very nice little section over there by the Genesee area. Anyway, it was built as a 2-2, 3-story townhouse. This couple bought it a few years ago. They have gone in and done complete renovations to the kitchen, so it's been upgraded with quartz countertops. They built in a wine bar, dry bar area. Backsplash, all stainless steel appliances. They refinished hardwood floors, added new Berber upstairs, and then where the open landing was, they've actually walled that in and made your 3rd bedroom / study up on the 3rd floor. They also completely redid the shower, took out the tub and put in a really deluxe, walk-in shower there. Great place, really well done. And that's gonna go on at $340.
Okay. New listing?
Yes,
Yes, ma'am.
I have one going in Monday in River Oaks. It's entry level. $1,785,000. It's 3-bedroom, big backyard, all turf, really cool. Kitchen is all updated with marble and slate.
Where?
Loose scan, 2153.
2153 Liston? How much?
$1,785,000.
785, okay? Yes, ma'am. Vicki?
Okay, my inventory in Rice Military Memorial Park area for first floor living new construction is gone, but I have a beautiful recent construction that looks immaculate, better than new construction coming on the market. It's has a lot of upgrades, built-in side-by-side fridge, just really beautifully done. A wine grotto downstairs, and it's going to be $830. So if you have anyone, please let me know.
Perfect. Hey, Thomas, you got a new listing?
It's a non-MLS listing that, I've got a sign on it, but I don't have photographs, so I can't put it in MLS yet, but it's in Rice Military on Birdsall. It's on a 5,000 square foot lot. 3 bedrooms plus 2 living rooms. It's got a pool, the master's down. It was built in '98, needs some updating, but it's really a good, solid set of bones. Only one person has seen it, they brought me an offer. So I think it's something that, if you've got someone that you think might even be interested, call me and I can get you in it. But I think it's priced, it's $699, and it's about 3,000 square feet. And it wouldn't take that much, it's surfaces, it's not structural stuff. It's new paint, new roof, all that kind of stuff. It just has slate floors and kind of dated bathrooms. So it could be a really good opportunity if you've got someone that wants to put a little work.
Okay, good. Okay? Stay right here.
Okay.
We have 2 more houses to show on the screen,
Oh,
and then we're
okay.
coming to you. Stay
All right.
here.
All right, Jonathan, you're up.
Okay, so these are technically a relist, but the first time I listed them, they weren't built yet, so now I actually have photos. This is my little it's like 10 units. It was a plot of land that was replatted for 10 townhomes, and we built 10 very small houses instead. So I've got 8 that are 2-bedroom, 1 bath, and 2 that are 1-bedroom, 1 bath. The 1 bedrooms are 625 square feet, and the 2 bedrooms are 800 square feet. They start at $225,000 and go to $250,000. They come with a 10-year warranty, builder warranty. They're Walking distance to 3 different coffee shops, bars, restaurants.
So cute.
Uh,
But they're single family, so they're
Single family,
tiny homes.
tiny,
They're
tiny, sort of
fantastic.
tiny houses,
I think they're
I want
fantastic.
one.
all within minutes of downtown.
I want one, I want one.
I've got some photos of, there's a coffee shop across the street, a coffee shop 5 blocks away, a record
There you
store. It's becoming a hip area, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Wait, what was that, a school?
That was a school, that's Eastwood Academy. It's directly across the street from these units, and it's one of the best schools in the city, actually.
I think these are fabulous.
These are so cute.
So kind of perfect. I think I've got one agent talking to me right now with a California buyer that wants to buy 3 of them and convert them into Airbnbs. So they're also really great if you have buyers that want to do something like that.
Just if you go downtown, just go
Jonathan,
up
you want to talk
here.
about the air?
So you go to
The air. The air system.
And they're on a mini split system. So they're super energy efficient. Mini split system because they're very small. It's actually the most popular heating and cooling system in the world. Metal aluminum roofs, upgraded gutters, concrete cylindrical piers, really well built, super energy efficient.
So is it central air?
Sort of, not technically. That's what she's pointing at. It's a mini split, so it's not a central unit. But what it has is it has one of those in the living space and then in the bedroom. And I mean, they're kind of incredible. You turn them on, you can't even hear them. And the whole, if they were off, the whole space cools in like 5 minutes.
That's
It's,
so cool.
yeah.
It's like an energy
Kind of like in
efficient
Europe,
window
don't they
unit.
have those throughout Europe?
That's why they're the most popular system in the world. They're all over Europe, Latin America, Asia, etc.
Yeah. What is the MLS number?
On this one is
103-42292.
600.
Oh, and in my photos, I don't have the doors painted, but the doors are painted now and they're super pretty. So.
What color?
They're in like 5 different sort of pastel colors that mirror each other. Very on trend.
Can you paint the outside?
I mean, there's no HOA, so you can.
You can, okay, good.
You might make your neighbors mad, but you
What
can.
is it? Is the exterior like hardy?
Yeah, it's hardy plank exterior.
They're great.
Hey, mine is pretty color. Say, I live in
Thank you, Jonathan.
whatever.
I think
Perfect,
these are so
okay,
cool.
you're on now.
Okay.
Pat, thank you for
You're
breakfast.
welcome. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for letting us in, or letting us in, like we're not allowed in. Letting us come in. I'm Pat Cummings, and this is Morgan Strasser. We're your marketing team for Charter Title. We just met Jennifer. This is her first week, and she asked if we were sisters, which is such a compliment. Thank you. Usually we go out and ask if we're mother-daughters. We're neither. We just have worked together a long time. Have y'all ever played the Would You Rather game? You know, would you rather have $1 million or not work for a year? I have a would you rather. Would you rather the Rockets win the national championship? Would you rather somebody buy one of your listings?
Depends who's listing it.
I mean,
I'm going with the Rockets because I'm gonna keep selling listings in.
That's right.
anyway, yeah. No, we just, we hear from so many realtors every day about nothing is getting sold, buyers are, trying to make moves and sellers aren't coming down. But from what we've heard and seen the last few weeks, it seems like sellers are kind of lowering their prices. And we have been really busy. Yesterday was a great day for contracts, so things are moving. We have 9 closers. And for those of you that don't know where we office, we're in the AMG Tower, which y'all are going to be there shortly. We're so excited. But we've left a bio sheet of all of our closers. I'm not going to run through them all, but they're out there on the table.
And one more thing for those of you that don't know, we have these little pop-ups. They just kind of tell you about title policy rates. Charter's made it really easy. We have an app. You literally type in Charter Title in the App Store, and it's the second one that comes up. It's a green calculator, and literally as one function, you type in the price of the house, and it will compute the title policy amount on there.
Wow.
So it's really useful because we get asked that all the time, and you can just have it at your hands.
All you do is you open it. There's no cost to it. It's
Easy
there.
breezy. So if y'all have any questions on where to find it, just email one of us.
Did y'all have any questions for us?
Thank you for
Okay.
breakfast.
Yes.
Thank you.
Delicious. Y'all have that quiche, yum.
Okay, well, y'all have a great day.
Thank you.
The Rockets going
everybody got a notice the other day? On May 22nd, mark it down. That's our next happy hour. We're gonna come up with another name besides happy hour. We don't know what we're gonna call it.
It's an extravaganza.
It's an extravaganza. Well, it is an
Well, no, it
extravaganza
is.
this time because it's at Zada Jewelers.
You get to
So,
frost yourself.
You get to
I can't
frost
believe I'm not gonna
yourself.
be here.
And, so do not miss May 22nd, 5:30 to 7:30. Y'all know where Zada Jewelers is?
Oh, yes.
Right there by Luby's. We all know where Luby's is. And, 5:30 to 7:30, May 22nd, Zada Jewelers. Okay. Y'all ready? Can I get my panel to please come up? Y'all ready? Come on. You're on.
I'll be on the inside.
This
room looks so big.
Hello. See how far away this is from my mouth? So you don't have to put it real close. If you put it real close, it does that. Yeah, so you just kind of, you can hear, I mean, they can hear you. You think it's not loud enough, but I promise you they can hear you. Okay?
Okay.
Y'all, y'all love having these panels and we love having them also. So please, know that these people really, we send them questions and they kind of come and start thinking about it before they get here. So we really do appreciate them being here, especially those who come from so far out. Of course, you know me, I think Memorial, anything past Loop 610 is far out. So, we thank you. Yes. All right. We're talking about keeping your pipeline full. Don't we all want to keep our pipeline full? It is a challenge. I know it's a challenge. So my first question to y'all is, do you think the market slows down? And when I say market, I'm saying your market. Like your market is really Memorial. Your market is East. Your market is Interloop. So when I'm saying market, I'm saying you. Do you think your market slows down? And if so, when do you think it slows down?
I mean,
John, does everybody know Jonathan Williamson?
Of course.
Jonathan Williamson, Wade Knight, and Sally Komichik.
For me, I mean, sometimes it gets a little slow in, December. I might get a lot of things under contract towards the end of November for people trying to beat the rush to file for homestead exemption in January. But I'll sometimes have a few slow weeks in December, but that's really about it. Last year, my first quarter was pretty slow, but that was in large part because I had a major surgery at the end of 2017, which meant I was out of commission for a couple months. You're not feeding your pipeline if you're laid up in a hospital bed for a couple months, right? But generally, I stay pretty busy year round, and a large part of that is that investors are working year round, and I usually, I do work with a lot of
They kind of like
first
turn
time
on
home
their
buyers.
year round.
Yeah.
How rude.
But I anchor my business with investors, right? So small flippers and a few new construction builders. So.
Okay, Wade, do you see a slowdown?
I've had a really good year this year. I don't know what it's about. I think some of our business is luck, some of it pans out. It's not just pan out, you can't figure it out. But I've had a really good year this year. For a while, I was just collecting listings. I kind of thought more and more. I carry an average of 8 to 15 listings all the time. That also includes leases, but like you, I don't really ever slow down. I've been doing this a long time. I've been here since 1999. And I always kept a large inventory of listings. Martha told me a long time ago, tell me if I need to pass it. To be a successful agent in this company, be a listing agent. Doesn't mean you don't want to be a buyer's agent, but list as a new agent. And she kind of gave a wand, you are a listing agent, listing agent. I've done it ever since. And it's a way to get your name out there. And that way, when you're kind of slow, people say, I saw your sign. And you don't even have to figure out where they saw it. They saw your sign. And for me, I find that keep the pipeline full, like Marilyn's alluding to, don't really have to worry about the times that you're slowing down because you're still getting activity in your listings. The months that are slow for me, that answer your question, though, would be January, probably October.
October?
Well, after
Interesting.
September, so half of September and then first week of October.
Interesting, okay. Sally, what about you?
Well, for me this year, I've been slow, which has been new for me.
Okay.
And so this has been the first time I've hadn't had a really good, strong spring. Now, I have some listings and still have some listings that haven't quite moved as quickly as I had hoped they'd move, which has been something also very new. Because usually we've been able to get our product out there, get it moved. I've been able to really reason with my sellers to maybe adjust price or maybe do a little more conditioning, freshening up, that type of thing. In our market out in Memorial, I would say when I'm thinking of that question, I think of what the market in general, not me specific. I feel the 1st of June, it's pretty crickety. People
Really? Okay.
get out of school.
More so than July.
Well, no, they're gone on vacation. As soon as school's out, they're on planes. They're going somewhere.
Okay.
So you're saying June is slow?
Well, the market in Memorial, because everybody goes on vacation.
Got it.
Also, I think the 1st of July, when everybody's picking up from camps, those type of things as well, we'll see a little bit of a lull. I actually think that fall for us out there is usually at least for me, has been one of my stronger markets, which has been surprising. But when I think of the market in general, I would say out in Memorial, and I actually met with a client that's going to list their house, and God love him, he wants to put it on June 8th. So it's also meeting his expectation to go, you're putting it on at a time when most people are gone.
They're on a plane.
Yeah, they're on a plane on vacation.
I've always said in Memorial, if you want to see your neighbor, go to Aspen.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's not true.
I always say,
They're
why
not
are we
in-
advertising this
they're in Aspen.
when all our
That's
clients
right.
are told?
Right.
And those kids go to camp there. All those kids go to camp.
All the kids go to camp.
Yeah. So, and the
And when the
parents.
kids are at camp, parents are
in
going and
Aspen.
doing something
Yeah,
fun.
no kidding. They're doing
They're
something
at their own
fun.
camp.
Yeah, they're at their own camp.
Yeah.
They're at grown-up camp. Okay, so knowing this, Sally, let's let Sally keep going. Hand that back to Sally. What do you do special to keep generating that business, even though they're all in Aspen?
Well,
What do you do?
I think Connor used to say it best, you kind of fake it till you make it type mentality. I do a lot more pushing advertising during those times, so it doesn't look like I'm slow and the market's slow. I'm putting more on social media, I'm putting more out there. I'm doing local filmings at certain places to show that, so I'm more present, so that it looks like things aren't quite so crickety.
More to your SOI?
Yeah,
Okay. So they think you're just going and blowing.
going and blowing,
So they don't think you're in Aspen too?
that I'm not in Aspen too.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Okay, Wade, what about you?
I've been doing a lot more open houses this year. Actually, the last few years, I didn't used to just love open houses, but I think it tells your seller that number one, you care, and number two, that you're out there. And I rotate all my listings. First, I'll ask the seller first of all if they want an open house. For new construction, it's a given. Always have open houses. Not every seller should have an open house. That's understandable. But if they want it and it works with your rotation, do it. It's visibility for you. It's free, other than the ad or whatever it is. I mean, people see your name wherever it is, and they see our Martha Turner signs, and it just tells the seller you're working. And I think they appreciate it a lot, especially a good open house. Don't fluff the numbers in open houses. I learned a long time ago, if there's only 3 or 4 people come through, 3 or 4 people came through. Assume you're always being recorded.
Yeah.
Always being
Absolutely.
recorded. It'll bite you down. And
I think a lot of times you are being recorded.
a lot of times you are being recorded. Absolutely. Yeah.
Can I ask on that, because of open houses during a slower time, meeting that expectation of that seller, because they're gonna go, oh my gosh, no one came to my open house type situation, and trying to, how do you handle that?
Very rarely will I have like no one show up, but of course it's slow sometimes. And again, I look them in the eye and I'm honest with them. It have to be. And I don't know, sometimes there's not an answer to it. The next open house can be fantastic.
Right.
So I try not to ever, I try not to frame that house as the house is always slow, because the next time it could be, in fact, one of the best ones. That makes sense?
Yeah, no, it totally makes sense.
It's hard, and the sellers get antsy, real antsy, you know. Never forget, Wade and I were working with a seller. It doesn't matter where it was.
And on
It was
that note,
across-
you never give an address or a name in this business. like,
Yeah.
Ever.
It was across from an apartment. It had building going up next door. It was not in a great block. And poor Wade would have open houses or, you know, very few people. Why don't people want to come in? Why don't people want to come in? And, you know, it's very hard to say, well, you have a lovely home, but it's in the worst possible location in the world, you know? And Wade is real good about that. He knows how to talk to them. They're not always happy.
What you may not
Well,
remember this.
truth prevails.
We also
Truth
had,
prevails,
I had a
true.
seller come in at the old office on West Hummer, and he came in with his stack of recordings, and he wanted to talk to Marilyn and I. He was frustrated that the house wasn't being shown like he wanted it to be, or as many times. And he said, matter of fact, let me show you everything that's been going on in my house. And I sat down with Marilyn, and I said, oh God. Luckily, I didn't make any mistakes. It was a house from Rice Military. But his point was very clear to me, and I remember like it was yesterday that he was recording everything. It's his house, he can do whatever he wants to do. So just assume it's going on, because a lot of times it is. And I learned to keep your ears open, your mouth shut. A lot
I've
of
always told people, don't say
Yeah.
anything
Yeah.
negative
If your buyer says we
unless
can't
you are
help, we
in
can't
your
help.
car
Right.
driving away. You
Turn it
know?
around.
Yeah.
Yeah. You deal with a lot of investors, you said.
Yes.
How do you keep that pipeline open to investors? A lot of people want to get in touch with some investors. How do you do that?
Well, I mean, so for me, it was pretty easy. I came with a pretty unconventional route in that Philip Kranza and I had started Refuge Development. And, you know, our business was my biggest client when I was starting out, right? So that was in-house fed to me. And then naturally over time, as I, you know, set the record for price per square foot in neighborhood and East End. I think now I've probably done it a couple dozen times. You know, the other investors start taking notice of that, right? I mean, they see me list a house, they don't think I have any business selling at the price, and I do sell it at that price. You know, now if I call them, they at least talk to me, right? So now, I mean, if I'm just driving
You
around.
have your name on every sign.
Yes, I do have my name on every sign, and I very much agree with Wade. I love open houses because, P.S., those investors in the area, you know, especially the small time ones, the guys that are going to do 2-3 flips a year, they love stopping in those open houses and seeing what their competitors are doing.
Right.
So that's a
And
great
talking
way
to
that I've met them, and they're often surprised to see me in them. They think that I'm going to have somebody else working my open houses, and of course, sometimes I do, right? But I work as many of them as I can. I do them every weekend, and I mean, it's paid off dividends for me because aside from the fact that occasionally you meet those investors, I met a client where it took them coming into 3 of my open houses at 3 different properties before they decided, hey, we're going to give you our listing and we're going to buy one of the houses that you guys build. And then since then, they've referred me like a half a dozen of their closest friends, right? So, I mean, the relationships you can build in those open houses are great. Now, the other thing I do, if I get a little slow, one of the things I like to do is just run by the things that I have in my pipeline and take a cell phone photo and, you know, try to make it something captivating, post it on Facebook, mention that it's upcoming. I leave out all the details intentionally. I don't talk about price or where it is or anything because I want to see who asks questions. And then, you know, that tells me who's looking at possibly buying, right? And I've converted some buyers that way.
Okay, good. Knowing your pipeline is your lifeline. Do you keep adding to your contacts? Do you keep adding to your SOI? Do you keep sending stuff to your SOI? Is it mostly digital or are you sending paper also?
So I never sent out anything paper until I got here, and I am excited about that. I'm getting some good results from that.
Oh, good.
I think I'm about to pick up a listing from a stranger from farm for the first time, so that's cool. I would get, calls from signs or people just calling me because they're looking at HIR and seeing me, but that's the first time I've had someone call me from a mailer. No, I mostly stay in touch with my sphere via being present on social media, wishing them, every single day, I'm wishing, a half a dozen people on Facebook happy birthday. And chatting them up when, I send them a message oftentimes rather than posting it on their wall. And then, have a little chat with them there. I do call people. The other thing I like to do, I work from coffee shops very frequently. That's why you don't see me around here very often. And I work.
What are you telling us our coffee?
It's not that, but I can go, there's, a half a dozen different coffee shops I can go work in that are in the various areas that I work in where my clients hang out. And if I'm there for 4 hours, 8 hours, I'm gonna see 2 or 3 of my clients. And on top of that, last week I was in a coffee shop and a young agent in my area approached me. He recognized me and had a conversation with me. And when I got up to leave to go to a listing appointment, the gentleman that was sitting next to us was like, hey, before you go, I actually need to sell my townhome in East Downtown, right? So that's it too. Like when I'm sitting in those coffee shops having real estate conversations on my cell phone or with other people, sometimes it leads to hearing things, or I overhear the people next to me.
Right.
Like I overheard somebody one day telling me that she needed to help her grandmother sell her house and she didn't know how to do it. Well, that's cool. Let me help you with that. But it just falls in your lap sometimes in a way that, I know there are advantages to like being in your office and not really having the distractions that you have in a coffee shop, but you're not going to fall into a client in your office that way. So,
there are no buyers and sellers in your office.
yeah. So.
Gotta get out. Wade, knowing your pipeline is your lifeline. How do you keep it full?
I parallel a lot what you're saying too. I don't do a ton. I probably should do more with my SOI, but a lot of my business is referral. And I take my referrals really, really serious. I don't refer out lightly, and I don't take referrals lightly at all. And I take the referrals and I work and work and work, and I try to get in front of anyone I can talk to about listing a house or lot. They'll say, "What do you special? Where do you specialize? You got a yard, I got a sign." And it kind of makes them laugh, like, really, really. And my point is, you don't want to just cut yourself and say Montrose Interlip when they might have a lot in Memorial. So I'm real careful about that. But go back to your same real, basically, I work anything that comes my way. I don't necessarily probably do as much, like I said, with my SOI. And try to get in front of those listing appointments. List. And if you're on the listing appointment, I always try to be second. I always ask them, interviewing other people, may I go last? Worst they can say is no. And they might not tell you they're going to be interviewing people, but they are. And you may have sold them the house 3 years ago, but doesn't mean they're going to always use you. And maybe your best friend in college doesn't mean they're going to use you, but it's going to all stay in the same cycle. I mean, it's going to keep coming. If you work the business, talk the business, it just comes right back all the time, every time.
Okay. Sally, how do you keep your pipeline?
Well, for me, I'm a real big on picking up the phone and making calls. If I have a house that's closing, I'm touching base. I usually leave a gift basket the day they're moving, so that I follow up 2 weeks later. Hey, how did it go? Was there something that surprised you that maybe I can help you with? And I always tell them, and I kind of push that just because we're closed doesn't mean our relationship's over. If you have ever any questions, regardless of how silly or how small you think it is, pick up the phone and call me. I always try to make it feel like they're my only client. I have nobody else. No one else really is as important as you are to me.
And they can call you anytime.
They call me
after
anytime.
closing.
And I had a client call me that we closed 2.5 years ago. And she had a question about a plumbing thing. Just, now you said you could get somebody. Can you help? I'm like, oh, Tell me what time, I'll get them over there, you just let me know. So that when it comes up that they have a real estate question or anything, they instantly think of me. I also follow up because I spend, you spend in the car or with these people for weeks on end. Like I had one client that wanted to play golf. So I said, once you get moved in, let's go play golf. And so I said, get a couple of extra people. So that's what we did. And as a kind of a little gift to her, I got her a lesson with the teaching pro at Memorial. Because that was something she wanted to do.
Yeah.
So, and then trying to follow up, Susie's gonna be in a play. So I send out, because she said Thursday, and so I make sure on Friday that I put in my notes to call and find out, hey, how'd the play go? I wanna know. So as long as I'm in front and I'm on their mind, that I'm not forgotten, usually most of my business is referral. And so hopefully they'll continue to do that and say, hey, Sally's always there. Sally's always a phone call away.
All three of y'all have said that most of your business is from referrals. That says a lot about all three of you. Because if they're not happy with you, what are the chances of them referring somebody to you?
And
0.
And I also want them to know that I'll do just about anything. Example 1, I had an open house this weekend. I got there, the front yard did not look good. Of course, I got there early to drop off paperwork and stuff. I mowed it.
Oh my God.
Where was it?
Wow.
It was in the garage. I mowed it.
Okay, that's a little beyond.
No. But guess what? They were, I can't even tell you how impressed. I plant flowers, I put out bark mulch, I clean windows. I will do whatever it takes to sell the home, and they know that.
I think everybody, I think we all will do what, how many in here have made a bed?
Oh, yeah.
How many in here cleaned up the kitchen?
Pets, clean up after
Cleaned up
Clean
the
the
bed.
litter box.
Oh,
So we really do. Now, you're the only one I've done this most.
Well,
Listen, you're my real team.
I got news.
You should put that on Facebook. Seriously.
It was hilarious because it was Jill Rome's house. And she was out of town
there you
for
go.
her mom's 80th. And so I was like, good gosh, you couldn't even, seriously.
Oh
So,
my
sorry,
God.
Jill.
Those
But-
sellers.
Throw her under the bus.
Those sellers, that's right.
But the good news is it was a small lawn and it only took me 20 minutes. So that was the bonus.
That is so funny. Oh my God.
Oh, my gosh.
That is hilarious.
Yeah.
Do any of y'all, and we'll just keep coming down the line, Sally, does anybody have any special little extra perk? For instance, you, the two boys, the two gentlemen, don't seem to have really slow times. Memorial does have a slow time. You do sometimes, yeah.
I mean, sure.
So is there any little extra push that you do during those times, actually building up to those times, knowing, oh God, they're all gonna be gone in June, they're going to camp in July. I'm gonna start in March, making sure we still have business in July.
I also is the same as these guys. I think open houses are huge. I'm always pushing because they may not be from one neighborhood to the neighborhood move. It could be coming from, right now I'm working with 2 people that are coming from Madrid. We don't know where the buyer's coming from. So I'm going to keep on pushing and pushing and pushing to make sure that we're getting everybody in the door that we need to get in the door. But when it comes to those, I also follow up with people that I haven't really spoken to in a while. Or, we were looking and then they put it on the back burner. I never stop sending properties. And I'll even put it in the email going, if I'm bugging you, let me know. But I just saw this, thought of you type situation. So even I'm following back up with those people to say, hey, right now, it's really a good time, you as a buyer, to be out in the marketplace. And I didn't know where your thoughts were. Have things changed? I know y'all were wanting to hear, did they get to the school? I need to follow up on that. So it's just continuing to be in contact to try to change the tide a little bit.
Yeah, stay in contact with everybody.
Yeah.
Wade, what about you?
When I get slow, what I'll do is I'll look at inventory, maybe look at some listings that didn't quite hit the market yet. And I really try to educate the sellers on things that'll help them sell their house. Whether it's, I have an eye for, I could have been a designer, and I have that innate ability to be able to tell the seller, steal my ideas, I'm giving them to you. So whether it's painting or carpet or designing the yard, here are my thoughts, and it works, take it. And the seller will kind of used to be like, oh, wow, okay, says it'll work. Doesn't mean it really always work, but do it. And I work my listings that are slow. And the way that I also will sometimes tap into them is you carry 12, 13 listings times 2. So I assume every listing has either spouse, boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife. So it's almost 25 personalities we all carry all the time. Oh my gosh, it makes you crazy. So I will sometimes work the listings that are maybe a little bit slower and tap into things about the listing, about the person, and make it not just the realtor, but make it like a real person. Whenever I go on a listing appointment, the first thing I do is I'll get a tour of the house, and I will find something in that house that I can relate to, that perhaps, whether it's college or fraternity, sorority, where they're from, get to know the sellers a little bit more than just being the realtor. And they appreciate it. It's all of a sudden you're way the realtor, the person, the live person. And I think that I somehow always, I will not leave the listing until I feel, try to get connected to the listing. That's all I'm saying. Whether it's at the beginning, the middle, the seller, don't BS. The seller's read right through the BS. And don't over promise when you're on a listing appointment too. Over promise and give 150 things you're going to do. Don't do it. They're going to remember it on that listing appointment, and they'll go back and you said on the first listing that you're going to do X, Y, Z. So I don't over promise.
They have memories of an elephant.
They remember it. They write it down, or they're recording it. So don't over promise. And when I got, you can steal this if you want, but don't steal it. Do something different when you go on a listing appointment. Whatever it is, do something different. I'm a big baker. I bake dozens and dozens of cookies every single week. All my friends know it, my families know it. I bake 2 dozen chocolate chip cookies a week. And when I go to a listing appointment, I walk in that door with homemade chocolate chip cookies. And, who doesn't love a chocolate chip cookie, right? Do something to be memorable besides just smile and bring your PMA. Do something different.
That's nice. Something like, thank you for the opportunity to come.
Yeah.
Visit with you.
They're eating their chocolate chip cookies, looking at PMA, and they're like,
Well, making it experiential.
Yeah,
Will you
know
leave
that
my
not-
banana bread at my open house?
Yeah, and it's simple. It's chocolate chip cookies, and I always take like 6 or 8, and that way they've got someone I lead to.
I think also just to be as excited about their house as they are.
Even if you don't want to be excited.
Even if you don't, this is their home, to be just as excited as they are about it.
Right.
Oh my God, instead of,
Yeah. Jonathan, you deal with new construction so much. Do you do anything special to keep your pipeline going? You've got the builders, I know, and the investors.
Sure, yeah, the big thing I do, I'm constantly trying to show my clients value that I can bring that other agents can't. And like Wade, I actually, before I did this, I was an interior designer's assistant for a while. And so I'm bringing that knowledge, but that interior designer, she happens to be my mom. She also does my staging now, usually. She has a staging company. In fact, if anybody's looking for one, she's great. But I've actually, my mom is somebody that I've leveraged into another selling point for me, because I have a brand new builder who brand new that I just started working with him, and he's only done it in about a year. And he's working on about 20 projects. And the thing he hates the most about it is the design selections. So I linked him up with my mother and said, listen, she can help with all your design selections. So she created a package for him that is, it includes, I think she did a 5 house deal with him to start, where she's giving him design consultation and staging. But that's value that I brought to him, right? No other realtor knew how to get him that for that price.
You took pressure off him.
Yes, and
Yes.
he's very much loving that. But I'm also, I'm showing, when he's buying properties, if I'm free, I'm showing up and walking through them and telling him what I think we can do, whatever. He had properties recently where he was concerned about the lighting, and I walked
and told him where he could put windows in, and I gave him the suggestion of those little tubes where you bring in natural light and weird placed rooms like the laundry room that don't get any. And anyhow, just that thing. And the same thing with my buyers. Like one of the things I'm telling my buyers constantly, it's been one of my pitches for years at my open house is, you know, any agent can show you what's on HAR.com, but you don't even need them for that. You can see that. I can take you to a dozen properties right now that aren't on the market. Can your agent do that? You know, and sometimes that they get fed up with their agent for not being able to do that, and they give me a call. So.
That's good. You know, how many times has everybody in here picked up a buyer or seller that was working with another agent?
Oh, yeah.
You know, in an open house, you show that open house, you know, you show the house well, and the buyer says, oh my gosh, she's showing me houses, but you show it so beautifully. Would you please list my house?
Oh, all the time.
You know, all the time. So
Absolutely.
never think, you know, that you're not
You're
getting
always
business
being
by
interviewed.
doing what is right and what we do well.
Yeah, and then conversely, I mean, same thing with the buyers. I mean, also my experience in construction and design. I mean, you know, that's appealing because they're walking these properties and they don't really understand what's wrong or the scope of work or what it might cost to do this or that or the other. And of course, I'm always very, very cautionary about, like, I don't want to tell them like, oh, it's going to cost $5,000 to fix
No
it.
kidding, it'll cost $75.
Right. So I'm always very, very like, here's a ballpark and a range and, you know, best case this, and frame it in a way in which I'm protected, but I'm still bringing them that additional value.
Yeah.
And you know, worst comes to worst, I'm bringing a half a dozen contractors to quote it.
Yeah.
The other thing I'm looking at, Kevin Stokes is the very best in our company. Like Kevin, high five to you. He comes to every single one of my open houses.
Mine too.
Always. And I mean,
I know he
doesn't miss
Ninja.
one. It's incredible. And what I've learned from people like Kevin Stokes that come to our open houses is number one, he comes to mine, I need to get his, right? We're a company here, push our listings. And I always say we've got not just Wade and I working for you, you've got 200 plus agents working for you at Martha Turner Sotheby's. Kevin Stokes goes to all of them. And I'm a very inquisitive person by nature. I'll write things down. Kevin, what do you think about this house? And, you know, that way when you're getting feedback from the open house too, and especially comes to my new constructions, it's not just me getting in. And I don't tag Kevin Stokes, but a Martha Turner agent said, or whatever, you know, list other people's ideas and feedback. And that way your sellers don't just think it's Wade the realtor saying this or that. And they appreciate our sellers so appreciate when Martha Turner Sotheby's agents come to our open houses, whether it's a broker open house or a public open house. They look at those lists and they want to know who is there. Some sellers more than others, but I really appreciate people like Kevin that come to these things, and I can tell them, you know, he didn't like necessarily one or two things about the floor plan downstairs. He loved the master bathroom. He loved the master closet, and it works. So.
Yeah.
You know, give good feedback. And when you do feedback, when you get to show things, don't just put like one sentence in there, please. I mean, there's nothing worse than having to forward that one sentence to the seller. They didn't like it, or small kitchen, whatever. Wait, come on. You know, I took time to either go show it to you and prepare it. Our sellers did too. Send a little something back, right? And our sellers read that stuff. They read it and they take it to heart. And when I go back for our monthly meeting, I take all that with me. I have all my stuff with me. This is what Kevin said. This is what Marilyn said. This is what, and it's, you know, it doesn't have to be the last names. It's a real person saying it besides just a realtor.
Right.
Yeah.
And Kevin also knows every house out there because he sees it.
He's incredible. I mean,
So when he goes on
thank you,
listing
Kevin,
appointment, he's
because
When he goes on a listing appointment,
Right.
he can say, I saw this house, I saw this house, I saw this
Yeah,
house.
he's really good about that.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and I'd like, on the feedback front, I'd like to pile on that, one of the things I like to do is every Monday, sometimes I have to push it to Tuesdays, depending on how hectic the weekend was, right? But early in the week, I like to just look back at every agent that showed my listings through the last week, see if they left feedback. If they didn't, I try to hound them for it. But I like to call them too and talk to them about it, because oftentimes you can get more information than that one sentence that, quite frankly, I'm usually grateful to get, because you're lucky if you get any feedback at all from most of these agents. But I like to call them and figure out what didn't work for them. And one of the reasons I want to figure that out is okay, well, what if I've got another listing that hasn't hit the market that is right for these particular buyers, and then I cross sell.
Yes.
And the same, I mean, you know, I'm always calling these other investors and asking them what they've got going on in my area, because if I'm aware of what they have, then if I don't have anything that matches that buyer's needs, well, even if that seller wasn't planning on giving me that listing, if I bring him a buyer before he hits the market, he might think about it, right? He or she. So, you know, just getting that feedback. And P.S., my favorite thing I've ever heard when I called and said, you know, what didn't work for your client, it was that there wasn't a microwave. I fixed it and sold them a house.
Well, you can fix that,
Yeah.
exactly.
You know, hey, we did a built-in microwave for the full $1,500 or whatever, and sold the house, right? Not hard. But it's kind of amazing sometimes what some of these realtors, and I think like here in Sotheby's, you're in this bubble of really fantastic agents that are competent and do their actual jobs. But there's a lot of agents out there that don't know how to do that, right? Like they just don't. They don't know how to problem solve. They don't know how to think outside the box. They don't, there's not like in my area, a lot of houses don't have garages. Well, for the right price, my builder will build you a garage. Like that's not a deal breaker either, right? But you know, figuring out what their objections are, because sometimes you can't overcome those objections that these agents just don't realize or overcome. I can't move train tracks or the freeway. You know, I can't move a commercial apartment complex across the street or whatever. I could definitely put a microwave in. We can do some better landscaping. We can potentially even add, you know, fencing or a garage if need be. And it's kind of incredible how many times those fixable problems are all that's between you and closing the deal.
Sally, do you have anything else?
No.
No.
They covered.
She mows lawns.
I'm the realtor.
Yeah.
I'm the realtor
The
that does
funniest
that.
part was Jill's house.
There's Jill's house,
So
it is
funny.
hysterical. You know, I do know that when we have these listings, and how many in here, it is one of the most frustrating things to me is when you're asking for feedback and these agents don't respond to you.
That's really.
Isn't that just drive y'all crazy? Do y'all just pick up the phone and call them? Does anybody have a secret to get them to return?
Texting works better than calling.
Yeah,
Texting.
texting, they don't like to talk to you on the phone.
I like to do
Fine.
all three.
More efficient.
Let's figure out which one
You
works
have
for
a
them.
solution?
Call from a number that they don't know it's you. I was in a contract, and that the buyer's agent just would not respond, and yet we were in the middle of a contract. And I just thought, okay, he knows my number, he knows my text, I'll call him from my home number, and he answered, "Hi, this is Steve."
Yeah, well, guess who this is, Steve? Yeah, no kidding. You know, it is frustrating. So when you get those, when an appointment manager sends them out, please respond to them, because it is so frustrating. Because your seller is on top of y'all as listing agents. And I mean, we just sound like idiots. I'm so sorry, I can't get them to respond to me. They won't return my call, you know, it's very frustrating, and we know that. Thank you. Does anybody have anything else to add? Any questions?
That's great.
You know, one last thing, and I'll stop talking, but you know, it's real important for us as a company right now, ever before, when you're going on listing appointments, you know, I've lost a few listings recently because of the commission. No one wants to talk about the commission, but you pay for what you get. And it's easy to say that, but it's so true. And if ever before, I mean, Martha Turner was already fantastic way up here. Sotheby's purchases, and now our marketing is it's the best it could ever be. So use this beautiful, pretty blue that we have in our new signs and everything we have behind us. If ever before, when they start wanting to cut the commissions, or they may not list you because you're 6%, well, so are the other three big boys, and we're not a startup, and we're like here to stay, and we've been here a long time, and push all the things that we have in that book. It works. And push Sotheby's, push Martha Turner, we've already been a fantastic.
And it's like Sally said, she's working with two people who are moving from Madrid. You don't know where these buyers are coming
Where did they
from.
come from?
Oh, and I forgot. Yeah,
From
we're
Madrid
attached to the reload department.
Okay.
Always mention.
How
Our
did you find it?
marketing
How did I
goes
find you?
around the world.
Oh, because I have sold other executives in the company.
So,
So it was repurposed.
yeah, and so that's,
Yeah, that's exactly right. I tell them that our listings get looked at, 805 websites attached to Sotheby's. We have buyers looking at our listings all the time while we're asleep. It'd be very probable that your home could be purchased by a relocation buyer. And that kind of get, they're like, oh, wow.
And it's not necessarily that they're Spanish or if
No.
they're moving from England. It could be an expat who's moving back home.
Right.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
You know, who is coming in. And when you have people moving from Dubai or Malaysia or wherever, they don't know to look up Greenwood King. They don't know to look up John Doherty. They don't know who that is. They've never lived in Houston. They have no idea who Martha Turner is.
But they know
But who do they
Sotheby's.
know?
Sotheby's.
Sotheby's.
can I say
That's fine.
something about the power of brand?
Yeah.
That's a great point, Erin.
So I am a huge believer of brand, right? My personal brand as well as the brand that I hang my hat with. And the other day, one of my clients was having a major issue with Compass Bank. And she says, this is so frustrating and I cannot believe that they went into real estate now.
I can't believe they was.
That they decided to go into real estate now.
I actually thought that Compass was.
Margaret had the
Compass
best thing, somebody said, you know, brands don't matter. And Margaret emails us and goes, well, if brands don't matter, why are women paying $500 for flip-flops made by Prada? Brands do matter.
People love seeing the
Uh-huh.
Sotheby's sign in their front yard.
Yeah.
It's not only a great looking sign, it's right or wrong, we like to be affiliated with better things in life, especially when it
Yes.
comes to real estate. And you
Yeah.
know, I make sure too, those signs, I make sure they're shiny and pretty.
Yeah, clean.
and always clean, and make sure your name writers are always on your sign. And Sotheby's kind of sells itself. It does.
I have a sign question. You know how everyone's using those wooden tees? If you go on our website, we have those too. I mean,
With the what?
The wooden tees.
The wooden tees.
They use them in Clear Lake, our Bay Area office uses them a
Ones you
lot
drive into the
because
ground and
they
the
are,
sign.
you know, the wooden.
Oh.
with the-
Oh, no.
we have them on our website.
Well,
just to
because they
encourage
use them when they're on back into the water or something, they need
Okay, well,
those
that's
big
good.
signs when a boat is going by.
Right.
That's what they can see.
Because a lot of those
Yeah.
are hearing from other real estate.
How do you drive those in the ground?
I think they're kind of, I don't know, I don't think it's, I don't.
I was just curious.
Yeah.
I think they need to figure
There is a place for them, and that's why we got them for the Bay Area office and for these outlying offices. When you have big tracts of land, you need something that can be seen.
Most of those big signs also
Yeah.
had a big picture of the realtor.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
they usually have it on their car too.
Ooh.
You know?
Cars.
Yeah.
You know,
That was subtle. That was so subtle.
All right, y'all, thank you. We appreciate it so much. Jonathan, number one. Yay. Y'all, thank you so much. We really appreciate it. Y'all have a wonderful, wonderful day. Bye, everybody. Have a great day.